The last shall be first, and the first shall be last. Listen, if you are seeing this video right now, I want you to understand that you are going to know that the hand of God is upon your life. I know that you've been in seasons where it felt like things were not working out. It felt like God has forgotten about you, but I'm here today to let you know that everything that you were going through was because God was trying to position you for a higher position. This next chapter of your life, it will carry the evidence that you didn't give up when it was hard, evidence that your obedience was not wasted, and evidence that the hand of God has always been on you. I want you to understand things in your life is unveiling. What was once hidden is about to be publicly announced. I want you to understand this. Many of you, God allows us to go through struggle because he's developing something in us that comfort never could. When people laugh at you, reject you, or refuse to help you, it's not because you're forgotten. It's because God is separating you from dependency on man, so you'll learn to depend on him fully. I want you to understand, many people laughed at you. Many people said it would never work out. Many people told you that the business was not going to work. But I'm here today to remind you that you're one step closer to the promise. Do not give up. I repeat, do not give up, because I'm telling you, something is about to happen in your life. You're going to know, and they're going to know, that the hand of God has been upon you. God allows you to go through all of this because he does not want you to depend on man. He wants you to depend on him. He allowed your family to reject you, to push you to the side, to not help you. He allowed things to happen in your life because he never wanted you to get too comfortable with your family. That's the reason why God said, I'm going to allow you to go through this, because I do not want you to depend on them. I need your dependence to be on me. The struggle that you went through, it was not punishment. It was preparation for where you were going. It's where God is building your character, your patience, your endurance, your strength, and your faith in him. You're being refined like gold. People may not see it now, but soon they'll witness what God was doing behind the scenes for you. Romans chapter 8, verse 18 says, yet what we suffer now is nothing compared to the glory he will reveal to us later. What you are going through now, this is nothing compared to what is about to happen in your life. This is no comparison to what God is about to do. So when they laugh at you, let them. When they walk away, bless them, because they're only confirming that you are set apart. The oil doesn't flow without crushing. The promise doesn't come without testing. I want you to understand, when people push you to the side, when people try to tell you that it's not going to work, it can't work, why are you reaching for the highest? Why are you trying to get this when it won't work for you? I want you to understand, all it's doing is confirming that you are called and you are set apart. You are equipped. You are anointed to do what God has called you to do. You're becoming in this season. You're becoming. And God is using your struggles to prove that your foundation is built on him, not applause, not validation, and not people. I want you to understand that. You are chosen for a time as this. You cannot give up because you're closer than you've ever been before. You cannot give up. You cannot give up. I want you to hear this. Your family often only believe once they see results. But faith doesn't work like that. God says we walk by faith and not by sight. Here's the truth behind that. Sometimes God will hide what he's doing in you from your own family because they're not meant to understand it yet. Just like Joseph, when he shared his dreams, his brothers hated him for it. Not because they didn't love him, but because they couldn't see what God has shown him. So don't get discouraged when they doubt you. Don't let their lack of vision make you question your calling. Are you hearing this? God didn't give them the vision, he gave it to you. Many people would never understand what you're truly doing because they don't get it. They don't understand why you're doing it. Why are you giving up certain things? Why are you sacrificing? But the real truth is, God did not give them the vision, he gave it to you. So I want you to understand, sometimes he'll even allow their disbelief to push you deeper into your purpose. Keep quiet in this season. Move in silence. Let your fruit speak for itself. When the time comes, the same ones who doubted you will have to witness what God did through you. I want you to understand that. The same people that doubted you are going to witness that God's hand is upon your life, and your fruit is going to speak for itself. You won't have to prove anything because it's going to prove it for itself. I want you to understand, Joseph had a dream too early. God showed Joseph his destiny at 17 years old, that he would be in position of leadership and that others, even his own family, would bow down before Joseph. But Joseph spoke too soon. I want you to understand, you cannot speak before it is time. That's something that you need to remember. Do not speak too soon. Because many of you, you're so excited and you're so ready to say what God is doing, but it's too soon. And people will hate you for that. His brothers couldn't handle what God revealed to him, and that's why they hated him. That's why sometimes God tells you to stay silent, not because you're wrong, but because others aren't mature enough to understand what he's doing in your life. Genesis chapter 37, verse 5 through 8. It reads, when Joseph told his brothers about his dream, they hated him more than ever. I want you to type in the comments and say, I'm going to keep quiet. I'm going to keep quiet. God had to teach Joseph wisdom, timing, and humility before he could carry the weight of his calling. Many of you, the reason why things have not happened is because you're going through a season of wisdom, a season of training, and a season of humility. Timing has to be on your side. You cannot rush the clock. You have to be patient because God is doing a new thing. God is doing something in you. And if he pushes you out too early, you're not going to be ready. When his brothers threw Joseph in the pit and sold him into slavery, it looked like the end. But the pit was the path to the palace. Sometimes people have to throw you in holes, push you out, reject you, call you crazy, tell you it won't work, because that is the way for you to get to your palace. Sometimes jobs have to fire you for you to get to your palace. Sometimes you have to go through a season of struggle for you to get to your palace. If his brothers hadn't betrayed him, Joseph would have never ended up in Egypt. And Egypt was exactly where God needed him to be to fulfill his purpose. Many of you, you must understand this. The reason why you're not there yet is because you are not at the place that God assigned you to be. That is why your purpose has not yet been discovered. You must understand that sometimes God has to allow people to throw you in a hole so it can get you to your next. Are you hearing this? So what looked like rejection was really redirection for his life. In Potiphar's house, Joseph did everything right, yet was falsely accused and thrown into prison. That's where many people lose faith. They say, why am I suffering for doing right? Many of you, you're doing right, but you're still suffering. Why? Because the prison, hear this, Joseph learned patience, leadership, and faithfulness. He interpreted dreams for others, which later opened the doors for him to stand before Pharaoh. Sometimes the place you least want to be is where God is preparing you the most. Sometimes the place that you least want to be is preparing you the most for your calling and your purpose. When Joseph finally became ruler of Egypt, second only to Pharaoh, he could have sought revenge. Instead, he said to his brothers in Genesis chapter 50, verse 20, he says, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it all for my good. He brought me to this position so I could save the lives of many." Many of times, God will put you in a place where it will seem like the enemy is winning, but in reality, the enemy is not. God is positioning you for something good, for something greater. Many of you are in a place right now, and it just looks like God is not on your side. It looks like things are not opening. It looks like positionings are not there. Opportunities are not there. It looks like doors are closing in your face. It looks like the finances are turning over. I want you to understand, God is saying, I am training you. This is training ground. Everything Joseph went through, the pit, the betrayal, the prison, was training him for leadership. Many of you are being trained for leadership, and you're thinking that God has forgotten about you. He's training you. He's getting you ready for what is ahead. It is not that God is trying to allow your situation to seem like it's just hell, it's issues, it's problems. No, you're being trained for a higher position. Because how can you be in a position and you have not even been trained for it? How can you go to a job and you say you want to be the manager, but you haven't even been trained to serve? You haven't even been trained for the other position. You have to understand, God used pain to position many people to save families. He's training you. God doesn't waste pain. Type in the comments and say, God doesn't waste pain. Every betrayal, every no, every delay is a part of the divine setup. You're being set up for your come up. Everything that looked like it was going to destroy you, it was just a setup for your come up. Even your family talking about you, throwing you in the pit, rejection, it was all a setup for your come up. It's the beginning of your promotion process. God uses crazy seasons to test your faith, not your image. When God gives you a word, it usually comes before there's any proof. You're walking around declaring promises that haven't happened yet, and to people who don't understand faith, that looks crazy. Think about Noah. He built an ark when it had never rained before. People mocked him until the rain came. Abraham left everything familiar to follow God's voice with no GPS. Mary carried the Savior while people whispered about her being pregnant out of wedlock. Every one of them looked foolish before the promise showed up. There'll be people that laugh at you, that talk about you and say, it's not going to work out. It will never happen. Why are you doing this? Why are you building this? Why are you talking about this? Why are you sowing seeds into something that you have not seen? They think it's crazy, but God knows that this is a part of your future. So when you look crazy for believing, that's when you see who truly believes with you. Some people only support you when it's trending or when the blessings show up. But in the waiting, the struggle, and the faith walk, that's where loyalty and true support are revealed. So I want you to understand, you may look crazy right now. What you're dreaming may look crazy, but I want you to understand, God already knows it's going to work. He already has written out your story. God is going to get the glory when no one can explain it. Type in the comments and say, God will get the glory. If it made sense from the start, people would say you did it. But when you look crazy, broke, misunderstood, and still choose to trust God, that's when he says, now I can bless you, because when I do, they'll know it was from me. God doesn't bless comfort. He blesses obedience. God does not bless your comfort. He blesses obedience. Because many of you, you need to understand this. You have to do what he's telling you to do. You have to still work as you're doing what he's telling you to do. And what I mean by that, I mean this. Even when people say you're crazy, you're doing this on the side, you're trying to stretch out your hand to reach a dream, you have to do it even when people say you're crazy. You have to still do it. Obedience means you're still going to do what God is telling you to do, even when it looks crazy. You're still going to be putting aside hours to do what God is calling you to do, even when it looks crazy. You have to understand that. That is the only way you're going to see your life change. If you're not doing what God is calling you to do, how is it going to work? You have to still work, because the Bible says you don't know which one is going to prosper, either this side or this side. You don't know which one is going to make money. You have to keep continuing to do what he called you to do, even when it looks crazy to other people. James chapter 2 verse 26 says, faith without works is dead. So when you're moving on a word that hasn't manifested yet, starting the business, writing the book, launching the program, that's faith in motion. And God's honor that every single time. God honors when you work. When you're working and you're saying, I trust God, even though I'm putting this many hours into it. I'm doing this when I get off. I'm writing the book, even though I'm not done with it. Even I'm sowing my seeds, and I'm sowing $100 seeds, even though I don't see nothing happening yet. You have to do things that look crazy, see, because the average person ain't gonna do it. Only the millionaires, the people that are in the making of being a millionaire, a multi-millionaire, and a billionaire, we are the ones that put in our extra work. We are the ones that get up and sacrifice. We are the one, even when we're tired, we still move. We are the ones that sow a crazy amount of money, seeds to people to help other people to sow into our future. We are the ones that go above and beyond. So if that's not you, then I'm sorry, it's not going to work. This is going to only work for the people that put in the amount of hours, that sacrifice, even when it looks crazy. I want you to understand, God honors people that are sacrificing. I want you to understand that. Before glory, there's always a story. Before the crown, there's always a cross. Before the blessing, there's always a test. You have to be okay with looking crazy in a season where God is shaping your faith. Because that same thing they laughed about will be the same thing they celebrate you for later. They laughed at Moses. They laughed at Noah until it rained. They laughed at Joseph until he ruled. And they laughed at Jesus until he rose. So if you look crazy right now, good. You're in a good company, because something is about to happen for you. The next chapter of your life will carry evidence. Evidence that you didn't give up even when it was hard. Evidence that your obedience was not wasted. And evidence that the hand of God was on your life. Where there was lack, there will be overflow. Where there was confusion, there will be clarity. And where there was rejection, there will be divine recognition. And God is saying, the very thing that made you cry will become the platform that makes you rise. Listen, I pray today that you will receive this word. If you didn't watch the beginning, please go back and re-listen. If you would like to sow a seed into this word and you know God is speaking to you, sow your seed today on YouTube or inside of my bio. Please make sure that you subscribe, like the video, and comment down below. And I'll see you next time. Bye, y'all.